Okay, and today's webinar will be led by David Gerzadas, and I'll let him kind of introduce himself in just a moment. But if you all would like to ask questions at any point, feel free to put those in chat or unmute and voice those. And if you have any questions about technology or anything like that, feel free to message me either directly or just publicly in the chat. And if you need to step away, be sure to turn your camera off and mute just so that that doesn't, kind of follow you around or cause any other distractions. But without further delay, I'll let David kind of kick us off.
Thanks, Dalton. Hi, everybody. I'm going to share my screen, and I've been asked to talk about stackable credentials. Um, got about, I don't know, 10 slides or so, and then we'll have a chance to discuss any ideas, comments, additional best practices that you might have or be using at your institution. I'm Dave Gerzadas, Dean of Advanced Manufacturing at Richard J. Daley College in Chicago. So we, participate in the NSAW grant. It's been a couple of years, and been a really good program for us. That's just a photo of one of our lab spaces and the robotics training stations we have. Our programs are designed to be stackable right from the start on the redesign of the program a few years ago. Um, with basic certificates, advanced certificates, associate's degrees, and um, continuing education programs, which this grant supports and has helped develop additional. So just a quick agenda, things that I'll go over, why stackable credentials matter. We've got a kind of a persona in Maria and what her situation is and why stackable credentials would benefit somebody, and then some different models of stackable credentials, and you'll see elements of those and some of the things we're doing here, and then I'll talk about some areas that we're trying to work on. And then how our program, what it looks like in a graphical format, and then just an overall benefits for students and employers of stackable credentials. So relatively small group here, so probably just talk as a whole group instead of doing smaller breakout sessions or anything like that at the end. There's a lot of ways of saying it. Stackable design, I've heard different people say it different ways over the years. Um, you know, uh, the concept in general is moving from one big finish line to multiple on-ramps and off-ramps for students. And I'm sure you're using that concept in different ways. I've heard somebody say, we need to fill lots of different needs for different students, as well as, there's one of our directors of career services used to always say, lid for every pot. And it took me a while to get that one, but then, from degrees to career pathways. So I don't know if those resonate with you, but they all kind of say the same thing, that we want to provide options for students on how they come into our programs and how they leave our programs. So just take a make-believe, potential student, Maria. She's 29 years old. She has two children. She's supporting her family. She's working a job but wants a better career. She's looking at different alternatives, but she has to balance a lot of responsibilities. Um, the reality is that she probably can't wait 2 years for a payoff and going to school and completing a program and getting a associate's degree. So these multiple off ramps and on ramps would benefit her, and she's probably hasn't been in school for a while. So taking placement exams and math and English, she's going to be rusty at, maybe not do so well on, which isn't going to help her be successful starting in a credit program. There's lots of competition in the market for training programs. We all see that. We see that in the, what employers are asking for, shorter term, online, non-credit, things like that that people can jump into and out of as need be. Um, People are more likely to choose programs if there's increments of success. micro certificates. And, I'm mentioning things that you'll hear me mention throughout the presentation, but we've tried to incorporate in different ways. What if, Maria has a problem? She gets sick. One of the kids gets sick and needs to step away for a while, and wants to come back. Programs need to be flexible to support that. Um, we do get people that start at CBOs, at our community partners, with career success, college success, maybe some OSHA class, something like that. But uh, we want to utilize that and build on that, and these programs can help stack with those programs as well. And then, just rewarding and confirming progress as students move through a program. So anyway, just, Maria and what the potential is versus reality and all the issues that come up. These stackable credentials provide the flexibility and um, the potential on-ramps and off-ramps for potential students to follow. So, what are some of the benefits for students? Faster entry into employment with those stackable credentials, a reduced financial risk. They're making a commitment, for smaller increments of training. Many times they can earn while learning in terms of working with the local employers that, you have a relationship at your institution, and more flexible education path. And then, clear next steps too. So, they know after they complete this element of training and move on to the next, these are the potential pathways for them. And employers, I mean, I see this all the time. Employers are not thinking in terms of associate's degrees and beyond. They're thinking in terms of skills to be able to hire people as quickly as possible. So faster talent pipeline. They are looking for options to upskill their current workforce, and they want to make sure that the skills are aligned to industry needs. They're not fluff. When you start talking about gen eds, you see their eyes just glaze over. Um, but also, they might have senior employees that have potential to move up, or move into different roles of need at the company that these stackable credentials can help. And so all of those things that I've been talking about, break down into, like, different models, right? The ladder, so that's probably the most basic format. Students go through, earn a certificate, a non-credit certificate, move into credit and achieve an advanced certificate and possibly degree. Embedded credentials, where you might have NIMS or NC3 or SACA or MMIS, or, those are all in manufacturing, but you might have different tech related certificates, but those certificates integrated into classes that then lead to, degrees are considered stackable. Sometimes students can move between programs as they're earning these certificates and taking common classes and earning common certificates. So that's another potential model. Um, and then credit and non-credit bridging. So a lot of times we do programs where, particularly supported through the NSAW grant, we're offering non-credit classes that are aligned with our credit programs. And you'll see that later on, where we run a CNC non-credit 8-week training class, and that's a natural transition from that to our credit program for students that like what they're doing, see what the advantages are of continuing, and then want to continue with their training. Another way of looking at that is this fifth one here, certification with the CBO or an industry. A lot of times students come to us, they've taken classes either at a CBO or at their company, and they're wondering how do they build onto that, and try to take that into account too, and utilize that to the student's advantage. And this is just an example of that non-credit CNC class. We have similar programs, for welding and electrical skills, which align with our credit programs. But these classes, 12 weeks long. Sometimes we run it 8 weeks long. But students are earning micro certificates, NC3 certificates in that. In the CNC class, they're earning the Gene Haas CNC mill operator and CNC lathe operator certificates. And students are getting jobs from those classes, but we also do get students that want to continue on with their training in the credit programs. So changing gears a little bit, this is our credit program, kind of a visual of it. And you'll see in the next slide, I'm going to match up this one with, things to the left of this, which you'll see in a second. But this is our credit program where students start out 4 classes equal a basic certificate in manufacturing technology. Another 3 classes for a total of 7 is another basic certificate in CNC technology. And from there, students can decide on 5 advanced certificates and related associate's degrees. So we have CNC, welding, mechatronics, industrial supervision, and CAD. So those are all, the basic certificate stacks to another basic certificate, stacks to the associate's degree, or the advanced certificate, as well as stacks to the associate's degree. So, the concept is built into our credit program with the ability for students to take initial classes, these 7 initial classes, without making a final decision on a associate's degree or advanced certificate, but they get exposed to all the different technologies and can make an informed choice. And they're earning micro certificates along the way in all of these classes. So there's a lot of different building blocks that they're using to progress in. So they're building on this foundation to then specialize in a certain technology. And then this allows us to continue to develop new programs and add on to this as employer demand becomes apparent. So now if we go to the left of this and match it with that 1, so this would match with the 1, this is more in the realm of the NSAW grant and the NSAW program. And just working, backwards here, this is our non-credit industrial maintenance technician program, our non-credit welding program, our non-credit CNC operator. These 2 programs are being worked on. Our charging station infrastructure installation program, and in our solar PV installation technician. Those are being further developed and getting approved through our internal non-credit class approval process. Then if you back up from that, we have run utilizing SME Tooling U, a very high level, I think it was 11 modules through SME, a remote class where students can get exposed to the different manufacturing, areas of specialization, concepts, terminology through online modules supported by an instructor, and from there, promote with them these programs as well as our credit programs. So, and then even before that, stackable to all of this is the relationships we have with our CBO partners who run, sometimes they call it a bridge class, sometimes they call it career success or soft skills training, but those are natural transitions from those CBO partner programs into the different elements. And so it's shown here kind of in a direct flow, but the students can, go into credit, they can go into these classes, or they can, if they're not sure. Sometimes our classes are full, and then we offer them this Tooling U package as something to do while they're waiting to get into the next scheduled section of these classes. So we try to offer alternatives and using all those terminology that, lid for every pot and different on-ramps and off-ramps, have all those things available to our potential students. But you can see that this broadens the number of programs available, broadens the ability for these CBOs to do outreach for us, and then we have other non-credit programs which might not be a natural flow into the credit program, but potentially from the CBO partner, making them aware of those, as well as from this manufacturer awareness And then this is a list of some of the micro certificates that are built into the non-credit classes as well as the credit classes. So we use NC3, we also use NIMS, and we're working on other potential certificates as well um, that fit. For example, we use the Gene Haas certificates as well. And then, another thing that we offer to all of our students, non-credit as well as credit, and that, really helps broaden their perspective is all of the co-curricular activities. So trade shows, guest speakers from employers, our job fairs, plant visits to local plants, the apprenticeship awareness activities that we do. We have an event we call the Bulldog Brainstorm Challenge, where it's kind of an entrepreneurial product development workshop, and then students, present, compete amongst each other um, in small teams to develop their products and with some uh, workshopping of their ideas from new product experts. And, so for example, trade shows, we just had the Automate show at McCormick Place a couple weeks ago. We had professors taking their classes, students going, and then they're, free to go around the show and talk to employers and see all the excitement going on in the industry. But all of those things add up and add to the, excitement that students have for the industry. Um, but we look at it as stackable credentials being a strategic opportunity for all of these benefits. Employment growth, flexibility for students. Um, one that maybe doesn't become apparent until you start working on it is apprenticeship programs. And a lot of times employers don't want to make a commitment to a long-term apprenticeship until they're sure the student is really interested in that area of industry and in that technology, but with those breakpoints, there's some natural points like those first four classes to say if they've completed those successfully, um, they've been introduced to manufacturing, and it's a good breakpoint to say anybody that's completed that level of classes, is a good candidate for an apprenticeship program. But it's also a good way to break down what early college candidates would take and what sequence. Um, and then all of that adds up to workforce related grants too, and offering the different on ramps, off ramps, focus areas for the different grant opportunities, to help support your programs and help grow the programs. Um, and then we see that with that, the modularity of the programs, it helps you align your programs with the different bachelor's degree programs. So, and all of that supports student success. So, that's what I prepared for today. And so we have a fairly small group here, and we can open it up for questions and discussion. And other ideas on stackable credentials that you might have. Dalton, was there any questions in the chat?
Not at this point.
Yeah,
Um, trying to think. What kind of programs are other people either using stackable credentials in or are like looking to explore? Because I saw a lot of like manufacturing in yours, David. I was curious
yeah.
if others. Oh, here's somebody's real question. Um, how do you get the buy-in from the college leadership from Vicky?
I let's see what other people have to offer there too, or suggest on leadership buy-in. Um, we've been really lucky in that we've had really good support. So, other than explaining the approach, explaining the, stackable nature and how it's related to the various grants that are helping support and helping us develop the new programs. Um, that's been the key to explaining it and getting that support. So I don't know, what other ideas do others have in terms of garnering support from leadership? You're welcome, Vicky. Other questions?
Or Vicky, if there is there like a specific barrier that you've either run into or that you expect may be present with the leadership that maybe others can speak to?
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I don't think I was on mute earlier.
Okay.
Right now, the direction that um, the college has been so used to going in is, just the academic piece and the 2 year degree, and then moving them on into a 4 year university. So our department in workforce development and career pathways, or the term career services, we use the NSAW grant. We've run a manufacturing prep program, and we've also run some of the other like what we call workforce fundamental type courses, your soft skills and things like that. And we've gotten a couple of pre-apprenticeship grants, Illinois Works and CEJA, that we are running. And sometimes I think my frustration is workforce development is a different arm of the college, not separate, but it's just looking at things in a different way. And the college sometimes is just stuck in, well, this is how we've been doing it for 25 years. So this is how you have to continue to do it. So we're always having to adjust to, even though it's paid for by the grant, the finance is always a struggle. They do things the same way they always do things. And it's different with workforce development. Things may not happen in that A, B, C, D order. Ours may start at F, come back to A, jump to G, you know. So that's where my frustration level gets, and to keep having to explain it over and over and over. And I've been with the college 2 years now. My prior 30 years was in the Job Corps system, so it was very, very confident in working in vocational education. So that's why I kind of asked that question, as far as getting them to understand it's different. This is not your typical steps. They come in and work towards that associate's degree.
Got it. Makes sense. I can see, our different organizations are set up in different ways, which leads to that support or not having all that support that you want. Let me ask you, when you're going for those grants, were you going for those, or was the department that you're trying to, uh, or departments you're trying to work with to implement those changes? Uh,
We
were
went
they
for those.
involved?
I'm sorry, our department went for those grants.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it was strictly um, coming from our director, myself, our career service coordinator. When those come out, we go for those grants. And then as we finish them up, then we have to send them up to the leadership in order for them to sign off on those. And
Yeah.
they're great to sign off, to through the president's office. They check everything, and it's fine. The problem are the processes after the fact, as we're implementing
Yeah.
things, because of finance or IT, um, especially if there's some software involved, some kind of way.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
uh, it's just a little bit of a struggle, and I get it. And then, like I said, being new to the higher ed college community, things are different. That's just not how I'm used to things working. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm able to adjust and shift and move, and I don't understand why they can't shift and move.
Yeah, yeah. Spending money is not easy,
Right.
as well as getting the money is not easy, but then spending it is also difficult. We all, I think, deal with that within our organizations. And I was just thinking, can you involve the academic departments earlier on or the continuing
Uh,
education department
Oh,
earlier on and get them written
Hmm.
into and being an advocate for the grant and give them a piece of the pie of the budget. So,
Yes,
they buy
absolutely.
in and support
Yes.
from the start.
Oh, absolutely. We have a fantastic relationship with the deans
Yep.
and the program coordinators. So anytime those happen, they're always brought in at the beginning
Yeah.
to let them know this is what we're looking to do because we're going to need those instructors. Just like for our manufacturing preparation program, we do that
Yep.
4 weeks
Yep.
in the summer because during the regular academic year, it's hard to get those instructors to be able to teach it. But it would be really nice if we could implement something similar to what you have, an 8 week or a 12 week, and it almost becomes second nature instead
Yep.
of an addition to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that's kind of my point is to become second nature where it's a good flow. And then if somebody wants to continue, there's a natural, next step,
Mm-hmm.
all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other ideas that people have, things that are working for them in this area? Very good. All right, Dalton, what do you want to do?
Um, I mean, if no one has anything to kind of ask questions or anything, we can end early. If anyone wants to talk about non like manufacturing centered stackable credentials, if anyone has experience in that, I keep bringing that up, but that's just another area that we could talk about that may have different, barriers or kind of struggles that maybe this uh, manufacturing can speak to. But if people are kind of content or otherwise, we can wrap up today. Okay. Well, David, thank you so much for taking the time to um, show us your success in this area, to share from your experience. Vicky, thank you so much for enriching our conversation with some of your experience and some of the struggles that you're facing, and hopefully being able to approach those in a deeper way now. Hopefully, Vicky, you unmuted. Did you have something?
No, I just wanted to say thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Carrie.
Mhm.
All righty. Okay. Well, I'll end our recording now, and I hope you all have a nice day.
Have a good day.